my very first vintage guitar. Hey everybody, Jayce Allan here. Welcome back to the channel. So I went down to Elderly Instruments in Lansing, Michigan yesterday, Saturday, and just to check some things out. There was a particular guitar that I was interested in that I had seen on their website, and that was this. Right there. This is according to the Elderly website, this is a 1969 Gibson SG, and it's in pretty rough shape, but it's still a really playable guitar. This guitar's got quite a bit of life left in it, so we're going to talk about this here in a little bit. Anyway, if you've never been down to Elderly Instruments, if you're from Michigan or you're near Michigan and you can get there, go there. It's a really cool place. According to their website, they were started in 1972 in East Lansing, and it was just a really small shop. It said they had about 15 or 20 used instruments for sale, and it said by 1975 we had a 100-page mail order catalog and a much expanded space. And then by 1983 they had outgrown the original space, and then they moved into this really cool old building that said it was a renovated lodge hall. To me, it looks like an old school. It's a really cool old building. So anyway, I went down there specifically to look at this particular guitar and to look at a Gibson M2 electric guitar. Kind of looks like a Les Paul Jr. I was very less impressed with that guitar. There's a problem that some guitars have. I don't know if I can explain this. This is just a little mini guitar. If you look down the fretboard, you know, the frets are kind of filed on an angle, and usually they're kind of just rounded over a little bit. The amount of material that they take off isn't very much, and the high E is not so close to the edge of the guitar that it falls off. Well, this particular guitar, these fret ends were filed so, not really, I guess you could say steeply, but on such an angle that when you fretted the high E, it would pull those that string right off the fret ends. And that was the problem I had with the very first Taylor acoustic guitar that I bought. It was I think it was the 219 CE Deluxe. I got it from Guitar Center. That was a $1,200. That was one of the most expensive guitars I had purchased at the time, and it exhibited that problem. Basically, the way I played, it was unplayable. I couldn't play it. I kept pulling those, that high E off, depending on what particular chords I was playing. So anyway, those are pretty much the only two guitars I wanted to look at. I looked at a Nash T52 Telecaster style guitar that's relict and made in USA. Kind of a neat guitar, but the relicking on it after you pick up this guitar. So here's kind of the thing that sort of convinced me to get this one over some of the other ones that I looked at, is because this guitar was only $3,000. Believe it or not, yes. I mean, it's definitely got some wear on it. The logo is pretty much non-existent. But the patina on this guitar and the stress, on the paint job, the crackle, and all this wear and tear and weathering on it is all original. This guitar, if this guitar could talk, it would have some stories to tell. And so that's kind of the reason why I picked that one, is because you could get a custom shop guitar that has all this fake relicking. I know that that's a real sort of contentious topic, is the relicking on guitars, but this thing is the genuine real deal. And the price was right, so I could have either gotten a custom shop guitar around that same price, or gotten this actual vintage guitar. So let's real quick talk about this guitar. The listing said that it's a 1969. Let's go back to the listing. Here's the listing, 1969. It says SG cherry finish, mahogany body, 3-piece neck, bound Brazilian rosewood fretboard, 2 patent number humbucking pickups, Nashville 2-pneumatic bridge, and stop tailpiece. And they listed it as fair condition. They says it needs cleaning, which they're not wrong there. It says new nut, which I don't see that it needs a new nut. I think that's fine. And then it says that it could benefit from a refret. But here's the thing. I'll show some close-ups of this. These frets are flatter than a pancake. I mean, they're completely flat. I like it. You can still play it. I complain a lot, you know, well, viewers complain that I'm out of tune. I'm always out of tune. And one of the reasons I'm always out of tune is because I spent so much time playing acoustic guitars that I just jam, you know, number 12 strings on an acoustic, that I just jam really hard on the strings when I play. And so, especially on a guitar with tall frets, like the West Creek that I did the review on, this thing's got really tall frets on it. And so I would go out of tune. That's one of the things I like about the Heritage, is that the frets on it are those, I guess they call them vintage tall, but they're not very tall. And so playing that one is quite a bit easier. So this one, I don't think I'm going to mess with it. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'll get some close-up pictures of this too as well, but one of the knobs is different. So you know they replaced the knob there, and then you can tell it had one of those, I think it's a Maestro Vibrola bridge on it, because you can see where the holes were, and then you can see there's an actual drill hole here that goes into the control cavity, and you can see the indentation where the wire was, the ground wire underneath that tremolo. So somebody didn't like the tremolo, which I don't blame them. I don't play trem quite a bit either, and so they took that off and replaced it. When that happened, who knows? I mean, that's the thing. It's, you know, this guitar could if it could talk. And then there was a decal here. You can see. Like I said, I'll put some pictures up. And it's super worn. I mean, it's you know, been used quite a bit. And then because of the way they did the logos during this time period, that's why the logo kind of wore off on this one. So I might actually mask that off and do kind of touch up the logo. I don't want to get too much paint. I don't want to cover up any of this, because you should see the cracks. The crackle in the headstock, in the paint on the headstock, is really cool. This thing's super light. Looks like it might have had some work done on the headstock. I don't know, because there's two like dowel holes that are a little bit different, brighter color, but it doesn't look like it was refinished, and it doesn't look like it had cracked at any point. So who knows if that's just a design characteristic that they didn't. I don't know. Who knows? But again, I'll show some pictures of that as well. And then one of the things that is kind of perplexing me about this guitar is the tuners are these, I think they call them tulip, because there's a little like a little floral design in the back, and then it says Gibson on these tuners. And it's really hard to find information out about those. So now, again, it says on the listing 1969. You go to Gibson's serial number lookup, and why am I not surprised that their serial number lookup system is completely dysfunctional? So really, it's impossible to find. So the serial number on this is, what is it? 409240. And it's, some of the things I've read says that that's a 6-digit. So some of the things I've read says that year, that range in the 60s, they reused serial numbers. But again, it's really hard to find any information out on Gibson's own website. So you go, there's this fella here, he's got this Gibson serial, look up the vintage guitar. True vintage guitar, excuse me, truevintageguitar.com. And you come down here and it says, you know, where's the serial number, back of the neck, no USA, next step, ink stamp or die stamp. This is die stamp. This is 3 to 5 digits. Mine says 6. There's 6 digits. So then look up 6-digit die stamped. And mine was what? 40. And if you go down, and you'll see 40. 40. And then what did I say that was? 409. Short-term memory is shot. 409240. 409240 would be here. So this says 66, 67, or 68. And if you look at, okay, so then this Tone Wolf, I think that's said something. There we go. This one kind of says the same thing. Year of manufacture, the serial number. So 0. Okay, so this would be 4. So okay, so this is a little different. See, well, these are 5-digit here. 4. Yeah, those are 5-digit. And then now here you're getting into the 6-digit. Yeah, so 6. Nine, 6, 6, 6. There we go. There's the 6-digit. So we get into 6-digit in 67. Okay, so this Tone Wolf puts this at 66. So then you go to Reverb and you see 66 to 61. And let's try to find a 66. There's 68. And you can see all these have the Vibrola, Maestro Vibrola. Super old. Okay, so that doesn't have the this has the Batwing, the double pickguard on it. But then see, every single one I've seen has these old tuners on it with the Bakelite or whatever the heck it is. And so I can only assume that maybe at some point, because those things can dry up, or this was just an oddball that it's got those older tuners, because it actually doesn't look from the finish that they were, you know, there's no shadow or outline from another type of what do you call it, another type of tuner on it. So anyway, let's plug it in and see how it sounds. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going through a Fender Deluxe that I got down there as well. That's 1999. See, I can press pretty hard on those frets, and they don't go out of tune. So intonation is off on it slightly on some of the strings. The B is off a little bit. G is off. A is slightly sharp. So anyway, there you go. I'm guessing it's not going to turn me into a world-class player. I probably don't sound any different on this than I do on any of my other guitars, but I gotta admit, the cool factor of owning something like this is pretty neat. Never really pegged myself as a vintage guitar guy, but I really like the SG, you know, the whole Angus Young thing, and growing up listening to that type of music. And these have always been a guitar that I was really never into, but then got the Gibson, the TV yellow Gibson. I ended up selling that and keeping the Epiphone back here in, where is it? There it is. Right there. And so yeah, so this is really cool. Anyway, I'm going to do more of a deep dive on it. I just wanted to show it off here real quick because I had posted something on, did a post, community post, I think it was yesterday when I got back, and just wanted everybody to see it real quick. And then, like I said, I'll do a deep dive and I'll do some more, we'll talk about this some more. And then, like I said, I may do a quick repair on that logo just so that it looks a little bit more readable. So anyway, there you go. 66, 67, 68 possibly Gibson SG, what, probably standard, SG standard. Anyway, pretty cool guitar. Kind of excited. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next time.